before we get into the questions, I thought I would do a little update just to let you guys know where I'm at right now. So I am 16 weeks and 3 days. I'm checking my pregnancy app. I used the What to Expect app. I used it last time I was pregnant too. And the baby is currently the size of an avocado, which is crazy. Honestly, this pregnancy is going by so fast. I've been out of my first trimester for a couple of weeks now, and I am feeling so much better nausea-wise and like all the pregnancy symptoms-wise. And I'm finally getting over all my sicknesses. These viruses this season, you guys, are not playing, especially with my immune system is so low this pregnancy. I got the flu for a couple weeks, and then I'm getting over another head cold that lasted a couple days. So I'm just hoping that I have so much more energy because I cannot wait to start like vlogging and creating more content for you guys. Question number 1 is, what were your early pregnancy symptoms? This was actually different than with my first pregnancy. My first pregnancy, the day that I found out I was pregnant, I think I was like a day late. I was having cramps already. I was feeling like all these different twinges in my lower stomach. I could definitely feel that there was something happening. But with this pregnancy, I felt absolutely nothing at all for the first couple of weeks that I knew I was pregnant, which is why I was so shocked that I was pregnant, because I literally just felt normal. I didn't feel anything at all, so I was just convinced that I wasn't pregnant because I knew with my first pregnancy I felt cramps and I just felt all these different things. But yeah, felt nothing in the beginning, and then at 5 weeks is whenever I started feeling like a little hint of nausea, and I was like, oh no, it's starting. And it just slowly got worse and worse, and then it slowly got better and better. I did have a little bit of cramping in the beginning, but again, that didn't really start until about 5 weeks or so, and it wasn't major. It just kind of felt like dull period cramps. Next question is how to stop morning sickness. I really struggled with morning sickness this time up until right at the end of my first trimester. It was pretty much the same, I think, as with Elena, but I just forgot how miserable it is. I did throw up several times, but I started taking this pregnancy vitamin B6 and Unisom. Unisom is actually a sleep aid, but combined with B6, it helps so much with morning sickness. So definitely talk to your doctor about taking it. They are both over the counter, but talk to your doctor about dosing for you and everything, and it helped me so much. I took it at night, and the days that I would skip it, I would throw up. So it definitely helped me. Sometimes I would still have this underlying nausea, queasiness throughout the day, and I would do ginger, anything. I would do ginger ale, ginger candies. I did ginger tea with lemon and honey. Ginger really helped me, and then I also would do just bland crackers, saltines and stuff, and I would make sure I had them in my car just to make sure I could settle my stomach. How long does it take for your body to get back to normal after delivery, i.e. weight loss? I did not feel like my body was back to normal, because it's definitely not the way that it was before pregnancy, until I stopped breastfeeding, which was at 15 months. I honestly would give yourself at least a year to start feeling yourself again. And if you're breastfeeding, just give yourself until you're finished breastfeeding, because I feel like your body holds on to extra weight to help you make milk. Are you moving into your new house before or after the baby arrives? This is a good question, which stresses me out, because originally the house was supposed to be done in January, and we are in January, and the house is probably halfway done, I guess. We are hoping that, inshallah, the house will be done in May, which is the month before the baby's due. I don't know, it could be June, it could even be the month after in July, and we're just gonna take it as it comes, but it would be really nice, and I'm just praying it happens before. Does this pregnancy feel different to your last one? And there are several things that are very similar, like my cravings. I am craving savory, salty, sour, spicy. Oh, all that stuff sounds so good right now. Same cravings. But I am bigger, my stomach is growing faster than it did the first time around. I don't feel like I'm overly big for my amount of weeks I am right now, but I started showing way earlier, so I feel like I had a round bump literally at 7 weeks. I know it was just from bloating and stuff, but since all of your ligaments and just skin and everything's already so stretched out, it just shows faster with the second time around. Another thing is I'm eating so much more than my first pregnancy. My appetite is just revved up, and I kind of have a feeling it's because I'm having a boy, because I heard people gain more weight with boys. I'm just going with it because food tastes so good when you're pregnant. So I'm just enjoying this moment. What do you recommend for stretch marks? With my first pregnancy, I actually did not get any stretch marks on my stomach, thank goodness, but I did get them on my chest once I started breastfeeding, which I don't think I actually put any like oils or creams or anything on my chest, so maybe that would have helped me. I don't know. I think it's just because like when your milk comes in, it just is so fast. Your body can't really compensate like your skin. Stretch marks are definitely more of like just a genetic thing. I don't think there's much research on actual creams and things like that that will actually work to prevent them, but I use them anyways just in case. Right now I'm just using my Necessaire stuff, like my normal body lotion, but I do really want to try the Osea line. It's not like specifically for pregnancy or anything, but they have apparently really good body care, like creams and oils and stuff, and I know a lot of pregnant people use it for their bellies, and I really want to try it, so I will keep you guys updated on that. And if you guys have any recommendations for stretch marks, leave it down below, but I think just making sure you keep your belly hydrated, and then it really just depends on how fast you're gaining weight and like how your skin can compensate. It's just all about genetics, honestly. How long did you wait to tell your family / in-laws both times? I waited only a week to tell our families last time for our first pregnancy, and I was happy to share that news, but for some reason this time around I was just more scared that something would be wrong, and I just didn't want to tell them before we had a sonogram picture. So we literally waited, I think it was like until I was 8 weeks. I think we knew for like over a month at that point, and it was so hard to keep the secret for that long, especially for my parents, and everybody already knew anyways, as you guys saw. We waited 8 weeks until we had a sonogram picture, and I don't know, I mean, I feel like I felt more comfortable telling them since we had a heartbeat and the sonogram picture, but man, it would have been so much better to just tell them earlier. So maybe, I don't know what I'll do next time, or if there is a next time. Are you nervous about having a toddler and a newborn? Yes, like how is that not something to be nervous about? Elena, she has my undivided attention at all times when I'm with her usually. This is gonna be a huge adjustment for her, and I'm very scared. I'm just scared she's gonna think that I don't love her anymore, or that she's gonna feel like I'm neglecting her. That's like one of the hardest things. And just knowing that how much work a newborn is with a toddler, like if you guys have any advice, let me know. I too suffer with IBS and trying to conceive. Does it affect fertility? Did you have any flare-ups during pregnancy? I'm sure a lot of you guys know I've talked about having gut issues before, and I basically have IBS. I don't believe it affects fertility. For me, I was in so much pain for so long that I knew I did not want to try to get pregnant until I could try to heal my gut, and so I was like actively just really trying to take the right supplements and do all the right things, and I did eventually start feeling better. It wasn't 100% gone, but I did get to the point where it was manageable. At that point we started trying, and after I first got pregnant, I realized that my stomach issues started really calming down, and I looked it up, and IBS can actually be a lot calmer during pregnancy for a lot of women. So that is what's happening right now for me, and I'm so grateful because I'm just like loving eating more things that I normally wouldn't be able to eat. I'm scared it's gonna flare up again after I deliver the baby because mine is really linked to my hormones. So yeah, as far as to answer the question, if you have IBS, it might get better during pregnancy, which is nice. Prenatal vitamins you suggest that you're taking. I am currently taking Ritual. I started taking Ritual 3 months before I started trying to get pregnant as well. Ritual has the lemon flavor to kind of distract from the fishiness, but during my first trimester, I could still detect the fishiness, and I could not take Ritual in the beginning. So I was taking Garden of Life gummies, which I took in my last pregnancy, but Ritual, I just feel like overall has more of the vitamins that I need, so I started taking them again during my second trimester. Did you have to stop using certain skincare while pregnant? I thought I'd answer this. So I love the Paula's Choice exfoliant, and it has salicylic acid. So I had to stop using that because salicylic acid is not safe for pregnancy, and I wasn't using retinol, so retinol is another one that's not safe. But everything else in my skincare routine actually was already safe for pregnancy except for the Paula's Choice. I'm very happy that I can still use the Good Genes lactic acid serum because I love a good exfoliation. So that's a good option while you're pregnant because lactic acid is safe. Do you plan on sleep training your second child? Also, congratulations. Thank you. And we are gonna plan on it. One thing I learned with Elena is that every baby is different. We really did try to sleep train her, but she was more of a difficult baby and we just could not handle it basically. So there are babies that are easier to sleep train, like my sister-in-law Mara. Her baby was so much easier to sleep train. I think it took them maybe 3-4 days, maybe a week or so, and he was, I think it was less than a week, and he was sleeping on his own. Elena, we tried for months and we were miserable and we gave up. So hopefully the second baby is easier, because I would love to have more space, I guess, because Elena literally still sleeps with me, and I know it just sets a better sleep foundation for them if they can learn to sleep by themselves. But yeah, every baby is different, so I'm just praying this next one is a little bit easier on me. How is it being pregnant with a toddler? This, I mean, you guys know it's definitely not as easy as the first pregnancy, because the first time around, if I was sick, if I was exhausted, I could take a nap, I could just lay on the couch and I could just do whatever I want. I could do self-care. This time around, if I'm laying on the couch, Elena will literally grab my hand and drag me around the house, drag me to her playroom. Let's do this, let's do that, let's go outside, let's read. Like, she keeps me busy. So I can't just lay around like I did with my first one. It's definitely harder, but thankfully I have a lot of help. And if I'm having a really bad day, especially in the first trimester, there would be days I would just call my mom, or I would just be like, Omar, I need you to take over. I can't today. So I'm very blessed I have help. Are you planning a baby moon? Yes, we are planning on going. Actually, we don't know exactly where we're going yet, but Omar is really adamant about making sure we go to Umrah soon, inshallah. Since we've never been and we're about to have a second baby, we were like, it's just gonna get harder to go. So we might as well just try to go during this pregnancy while I'm feeling good in my second trimester, and while Elena she can easily be watched by my mom or his mom. And then we were thinking on like tagging along on that trip, like a little baby moon. Like, I really don't know if I want to go back to the Maldives, even though that would be a really great place to go from there. With the time of year, that's like one of the only places that I know of that has really good weather. But if you guys know of any other place that we could tag along to the Umrah trip for our baby moon, then I would love that down below. But if not, then we may just come back home and then maybe do like a Mexico weekend trip or something for the baby moon. That's kind of what we're planning for this year. How did you prepare your body for pregnancy? I think I did a vlog on this a few months back, but basically what I did is I started taking my prenatals probably 3 months before I started trying to get pregnant, because I wanted to build up those vitamins in my system before I got pregnant. And then as far as like diet, I didn't really do anything crazy. I just really tried to like make sure I was eating really nourishing foods, eating a lot of protein and iron and just lots of vitamins to just again like build that up in my system. I was like consistently going to yoga and walking and just trying to get as physically fit as I possibly could. Not like crazy. I just wanted to feel stronger, because I knew that my first trimester I was not gonna work out, which I didn't. Which now that I'm starting to feel better, I'm like, okay, I gotta get back to yoga, I gotta get back to walking. Those are kind of like my go-tos. I don't really like to do anything too crazy. Will baby number 2 have his own bedroom set up at the new house? I will have a bedroom set up at the new house, but if it just kind of depends on what kind of a baby he is, if he actually sleeps in there, because I had a whole setup in here for Elena when she was a baby and she never slept in here even one night. That's why I turned it into her playroom, because it was pointless. But yes, I will go ahead and set it up and all of that. It's just nice to kind of like have a space for all the baby's things anyways, even if they don't sleep in it. First trimester must-haves. So I wrote like a little list. Nothing crazy. You don't need a ton of things. The ginger was so helpful just for like that underlying nausea. If you're like just throwing up and it's just miserable, then the ginger is really not going to do anything. Like I said, the Unisom B6, talk to your doctor about those. With my last pregnancy, I also had like just a water bottle. I use the Stanley cup right now with the flip straw. That was just, and still is, just like my daily water bottle that makes sure that I'm drinking enough water, because I also got so thirsty. I think it's just like really common to get really thirsty in pregnancy since your blood volume is increasing, so you need to be drinking a lot of water. Prenatal vitamins, obviously. A pregnancy pillow is really nice. Like even if you're not getting like super big, like your first trimester, you're still pretty small, your belly's still smaller. It's just nice to have that support. Like sometimes your back's hurting, sometimes you're sore, and it's just nice to have a pregnancy pillow. So I'll link mine down below. It's so comfortable. The saltine crackers, I would take those with me everywhere. So those were my essentials. How was your labor with Elena, and did you have an epidural? Yes, I had an epidural. I actually got induced with Elena at 40 weeks. It was just an elective induction, which means that it was just like my choice. There wasn't like a medical reason. And I decided to get induced because I was so miserable with my last pregnancy. I actually developed my IBS gut issues with my last pregnancy, and I was in so much pain. I actually didn't know what it was at the time. I thought it was my gallbladder. So I was like, I just need to get induced. I need to deliver this baby as soon as possible so I can feel better. And even though I had a great experience with my delivery and everything, my stomach issues didn't even get better. They actually got worse after I delivered Elena, so that didn't even help. But I think I will get induced again because I did have such a good experience. Since I was a labor and delivery nurse, I was just a little bit more equipped with knowledge to know if I wanted to get induced or not. I feel like it's not for everyone. My doctor, whenever she checked me right before I got induced, told me I think I was like 80% effaced, which means that the cervix was pretty thinned out, which means that your cervix is pretty ripe. So at that point I was like, okay, I think I'm good to get an induction. But there's a lot of women who come in and their cervix is still thick and hard, and it is very difficult to labor if you're like a thick cervix like that. So anyways, I would just make sure that your cervix is effaced before you choose to have an elective induction. That's just kind of like some knowledge that you might want to have if you're deciding on induction or not. Will you do matching sibling outfits? I think they're so cute. And yes, what kind of question is this? I will definitely have them match. I will probably do a lot more coordinating outfits as well, because with it being a boy and a girl, I mean, there's like different like loungewear sets and stuff that could probably match and stuff, but I love coordinating. Even just me and Elena's outfits, or me and Omar and Elena, I love coordinating, so I will literally coordinate their outfits every day. What are you most excited about? I think I'm most excited just about meeting the baby for the first time. Like, meeting Elena was one of the most surreal moments of my entire life. Just like seeing them for the first time. And then those first few days of them just sleeping on your chest, and they're just so tiny, and just that feeling. I just can't wait, inshallah, to feel that again. And then obviously having Elena meet the baby and just kind of like seeing them develop a relationship. I know they won't be playing together for a little while, but it melts my heart thinking about it. How many babies do you want? So originally, if you followed us way back in the day, me and Omar always said 4, which we're definitely not on the course to have 4 at this point. But now that we're gonna have a boy and a girl, inshallah, we're kind of like, we might be good. You never know. Like, we kind of feel like, okay, we have one of each. It's like the perfect little family. But then, I don't know, we're like still, both of us in the back of our minds are like, I don't know, we feel like we might want one more, even though, but we're just gonna wait until we have this one and we're gonna see. Congrats. How did you know you were ready, especially with Elena? Thank you so much. I feel like I knew I was ready just because we knew kind of how far apart we wanted our kids to be. We wanted them to be between like 2.5 and 3 years. And I was struggling so much with my gut issues, and I didn't want to get pregnant until that was under control. So as soon as I like was starting to feel better and it was manageable, that's kind of like when I was like, okay, if we got pregnant soon, then they would be about 3 years apart. And then that's what happened. And then inshallah, Elena will be 3 in August and the baby will be born in June, about 3 years apart. And I think that's a good age gap, hopefully, where they can still be close and play with each other, but then it's not so hard on me where it's like 2 under 2. I don't know how you mamas do that. That's so hard. Do you think it's important to potty train your toddler before the next baby arrives? I think ideally it would be easier, but I just know that Elena is not ready at this point. She's showing some signs of readiness, but to me, I feel like she really needs to be able to tell me when she needs to go, and she's just not there yet. I want to wait until I know she's like ready. I don't want to be doing this potty training thing for months on end or worrying about that. I feel like that is more stressful than just waiting until she's ready and then just getting it over with in like a week and then being done. So I think I'm gonna wait till she's 3, or just until I feel like she's ready. The baby will be here, but I have a lot of help, so I think it'll be okay. Are you gonna fast for Ramadan this year? I did not fast with Elena during Ramadan, and I did actually, maybe I tried for like half a day, and I was like, I cannot do this. I don't know how women fast while they're pregnant. It was so hard for me. So since it is not required, I am not going to fast during Ramadan, and I don't feel like, I don't know. I feel like if you're pregnant and you're trying to figure out if you're gonna fast or not, maybe try it if you really want to, but it's not required. So don't push yourself. Have you thought of baby gear you will need for baby number 2 that you didn't have with Elena? I thought this was a very good question, so I wrote a little tiny list of things that I think I might want for the next baby that I didn't have already. We used the SNOO with Elena, which is the bassinet that does all the different high-tech things, like it rocks the baby for you and it shushes the baby and all of that stuff. We did use it, but I just didn't think it was necessary. Since we already have it, I may just use it as our bassinet this time, but I think I might even just get a regular bassinet that doesn't do all those high-tech things. I also really want the Kikuru Peanut changing pad. I can put that picture of it on screen and I can link it below, but it's more like a cushiony silicone, so you can wipe it off and it just looks like you can keep it really clean. I really want that this time. I really want a wipe warmer this time. I know a lot of people say it is not necessary, but there are some days I even feel like I wish I had one for Elena, and she's a toddler. I just feel like it'd be a better experience for the baby to be a warm wipe. I don't know, let me know if you guys have had one or if it's worth it. This one, I really want a monitor with a separate screen that's not attached to your phone this time, just because I just feel like I need something that's not on my phone so that I can have my eyes on her at all times. If you have any recommendations for that, leave it down below. And then I think that was it. The only other thing is I did get a swing with Elena, which I love, but I got it at like 5 months, which was a little bit late, so we only used it for a couple months. But I'm happy to have it now from the beginning. How to want kids. I'm not married, but even if I get married, I don't see myself becoming a mom. I feel like I've mentioned, or I've answered this question from someone else in another Q&A that I did once, but I thought it was just pretty relevant because I feel like a lot of people feel this way. I just wanted to say that it is literally okay if you don't want kids. Like, that is not the end all be all of life. It's like kind of like ingrained into our society, and especially in different cultures, that like you have to get married, you have to have kids, but that is just, you don't have to. Like, you can literally do whatever you want. You shouldn't feel guilty if you don't want to be a mom. I will say, since you're not married yet, before I was even married, I mean, kids were not on my radar whatsoever. Your thought processes and like your wants and desires kind of change as you go into different stages of life. You might change your mind one day, but if you don't, it's okay. Your favorite thing about being pregnant and your least favorite thing. So my favorite thing is just feeling the baby move, seeing them on sonogram, hearing their heartbeat, just all that fun stuff. Another thing that's fun this time is just like getting Elena involved. I don't know if she even realizes what is about to happen, but it's so cute whenever I ask her where the baby is and she like tells me it's in her tummy and like just like seeing her. I don't even know if she gets the concept that she's gonna have a baby, but it's just cute hearing her say like baby, and like we've told her the name, and it's so funny hearing her say the name too. Another favorite thing is that food literally tastes so good. I mentioned this earlier. Let me know if any of you guys who have been pregnant have felt the same thing, but food literally tastes so good. It's like my senses are heightened or something, and then when you're craving something and then you finally get to eat it and it tastes so good, it's just like, I don't know, it's so satisfying. Least favorite thing is obviously being sick, obviously being tired. Sometimes pregnancy sucks. I feel like a lot of times we just really glamorize it on social media, and the reality is it's definitely not easy. What would you say to someone who's scared about all the pain and stuff? And I think she's talking about labor. Highly suggest an epidural because it was the best thing I ever did. I would say that just know that there are women who have positive birth experiences, and not every birth is traumatic. I know that women do go through traumatic experiences, and it is good for them to be able to share that online and, you know, let people be aware. Just know that there are also positive experiences, and thank God I actually did have a very positive experience. I didn't feel literally anything with my epidural, and I was great. I would say just pray about it, just keep your faith, and just know that you're gonna be taken care of and it's gonna be okay, and it's worth it in the end, even if you do have to go through the pain. I promise it's worth it. Those are all the questions that I have from you guys. Thank you guys so much for sending those in. If you guys have any pregnancy related video requests or just content ideas that you guys want to see from me in general on YouTube, then leave it down below. I'm planning to do a lot more vlogs. I have just not been feeling my best, so I have not been feeling like vlogging at all. So I'm excited to get back to doing that, to bring you guys along this journey. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.